This is the second time recording this because the first time did not go well. This sock was fueled from coffee and panic. I'm like, I hate magic loop. Never ever gonna do magic loop. Wow, sorry, that got a little heated there. Hi, welcome back. My name is Carson and this is my space where I chat about knitting. Today I have some projects to share with y'all, so let's just get started. Once again, it's been quite some time since I have sat down to chat. My knitting mojo has been a little up and down, or a lot up and down recently, and sometimes non-existent, but today specifically it is high. I cannot stop knitting, so yeah, I've just thought what better time to sit down and chat than when I'm really excited about it. So first off, I'll talk about something I don't think I've shown before. This is my, I always forget this name, Secret Little Crop, I believe is what it's called, by Jessie May. I'll put everything right here along with the links in the description below. But yeah, this is just a nice little crop top. I made this in Eddie Bauer Adventure Cotton, which is a sport weight yarn. I knit it on recommended needle sizes. I did get a slightly looser fitting garment. It doesn't like mold to my body even though it's ribbing because of that like looser yarn, or I guess because the yarn is on the smaller end. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's just a little bit lighter, airier, it has some positive ease, and I really like it. This is actually my second time knitting this pattern. The first time I knit it in worsted weight yarn, I think, and so the ribbing, it's 3x3 ribbing, so it did kind of like slink a little bit and like mold to my body more than this one does. So that one I didn't have to wear a bra with. This one I do, although I don't mind it. It just feels like a loose little tank top. What else? I knit the size small this time. My last one I knit the size extra small. So that's definitely also why this one's a little bit, I don't know. I keep saying this, but looser gauge. Yeah, I did definitely knit one of the straps a little shorter than the other one. I can like feel that in the back. I know you can't, I don't know if you can see it great right now, but maybe I'll insert like a video or something of me wearing it full body, but it has I-cord straps, and there's not much finishing you have to do whenever you knit this. It's pretty straightforward. Like you just cast on, it's bottom up. So you cast on for, I guess, 1x1 at first, and then it turns into 3x3 ribbing. You just keep going, and then you split front and back, cast off on the arms, cast off on the back, and then you just make this kind of square-ish neckline by, you know, decreasing. I did end up with a wonky number of stitches after doing the full decrease. Like I had way more than I was supposed to for this top part, so I ended up decreasing more, which she says that part of the pattern is customizable, so you could, you know, keep going to make like a higher neckline or stop to make a lower neckline. But because of that, I think my shoulders sit a little bit wider than my other one did, and so sometimes they kind of like fall off because it's so wide, but that's definitely because I did something wrong and did not end up with the right amount of stitches I was supposed to. But I really like it overall. It's really fun to wear. It's my favorite shade of yellow. It's like a pale yellow, almost Easter eggy, or like soft pina colada. I don't know if I'm describing that perfectly, but I just love it. It's almost pastel-y. Yeah, it's so fun to be able to wear something that I loved making and I love wearing it. So that was fun. Next up, what do I have? Oh, right in front of me. Next thing, I do have another top. I talked a bit about this top in my last podcast, so I'm not going to talk a ton about it because I honestly forgot most of the details because it's been so long. But this is a top I modified from the basic knit bralette, I think is what it's called. Again, I'll put the correct info down below. But yeah, I really just use that top for, or really bralette, for the number of cast on stitches, and then, I mean, it kind of just did my own thing. The front and the back has it's identical. The front and the back it has the exact same amount. What am I trying to say? They're just identical. Like I did the exact same thing for every triangle, so I mean, you could wear it front ways or back ways and it looks the same. I did knit some I-cord straps and just knit them really long. so then I could tie them, because this is, again, I knit this in Eddie Bauer Adventure cotton, held double, so it's kind of more of a worsted or Aran weight. And because cotton tends to stretch as you wear it, I opted for tie straps, which I don't have anything with tie straps, so I really like it. It makes it feel a little bit more feminine or dainty, in my opinion. But yeah, I used the same yellow in this, along with like a teal color. I think I listed out the exact names last time. But yeah, I really like the teal and the yellow together. It just feels so summery. Yeah, I've worn this a little bit too. I can't wear this one without a bra because it's pretty... I mean, it does have... I don't know if this has positive ease. It definitely doesn't have negative, but it's kind of like... It fits my chesticles. And then there's some positive ease, I guess, like in the stomach area. I don't know if that's positive or negative or just neutral, but yeah, I really like this one. It was fun to knit, super easy to knit. I think if I did it again, I would go up a size to make it a little bit looser fit, but I mean, I like it. I don't even know what size I knit. I think I might have referenced like the size large for that because my gauge was so different. I don't know what I did. Maybe check out the last podcast if you're really interested, but pretty basic. I'm sure there's patterns out there just like this because it's super easy. So yeah, again, summer top. Been enjoying summer tops. What next? Oh, I have another finished object. I have some socks. These are their Hibernal socks by Summerly Knits. Give you a close-up of that pattern. So they are sample knit. They are a sample knit for Capella Luna Fibers, which is one of my favorite indie dyers. These were supposed to be for Flock, but very sad news. I don't know the extent, it's not my business anyway, but Alyssa has posted this on her Instagram if you're interested. That's the dyer behind Capella Luna Fibers. So sweet. She ended up getting, I don't know exactly what happened, but she broke definitely one ankle and is immobile for a while. So this happened like a month or two ago. So she, unfortunately, for one, she's immobile, which is, I'm sure is very frustrating and painful. She also had to cancel going to Flock, which I'm sure was also a real letdown for her. So yeah, very unfortunate situation. But so even though, what am I trying to say? I was supposed to knit these for Flock, but of course whenever that happened, the sample knit deadline, which was August 1st, got, thrown away because she was no longer going to Flock. So I did take my time on these, after that news. But yeah, I mean, I say take my time. I guess I'm like a week after or 2 weeks after the first deadline. But again, that deadline there is no more deadline, but it's still a sample knit. She can still use these in the future. She dyes the prettiest yarn. I don't remember, this was in her Pacific Northwest collection, which I actually bought some for myself back in October or September. I think this is Pike Place, and it's just this really pretty pink and blues, and there's even some like hints of yellow and green. Very variegated, very fun, and I had a good time knitting on these. I will say I don't usually knit my legs this long. This is like an 8-inch leg. I'm more of like a 6-inch gal. And it felt like a lot of knitting after the first sock. Once I had to do the second one, I was like, oh man. But also on the second one, I broke one of my Chiagu interchangeable, I think they're called twists. They're like the little ones, like the little set for, socks and sleeves and stuff. One of my cables broke, which made my 9-inch circulars. So I had to swap over to my bamboo 9-inch needles. I'm really spoiled after I, got hooked on Chiagu. Like, the bamboo does not do it for me at all. And it was not painful to knit to finish them, but like, it was more of a chore simply because of the needle swap. But I ordered some replacements that should be coming in today. But yeah. But these are a lot of fun. Like, the stitch was really fun. It looks like cables, but it's not. They're faux cables, and it's honestly super easy to do. This felt like a mindless knit, even though it looks... dropped it. It looks intricate. It was really mindless. It's just like a fancy rib, really. So yeah, these are fun, and they're done. I knit the size medium, which was a 64 stitch count. Yeah, I knitted exactly the pattern. I did try them on just for a brief moment. They do fit my feet, so I know what to knit myself next time if I want to knit myself some of these socks. But yeah, I will be sitting these off today or tomorrow to go back to Alyssa, and hopefully she'll be able to use them in the future, and hopefully she has a smooth, quick recovery, because I cannot imagine. So yeah, those are the Hibernal socks. Fun to knit, but definitely not gonna cast on any for myself at the moment, just because it was a lot. Like, it felt like a lot. I did cast on a sock though. Even though I have 3 single socks, actually 2 single socks with the second sock casted on, and then 1 single sock mid-project that I have in like a sock bag that I have not touched in a while. But I casted on a sock, and I actually finished that sock this morning. Oh, that's not it. This is it. So these are just some basic socks. Like my basic sock pattern, 64 stitches, 2x2, what do you call this? Cuff. And maybe like I think it's a 4-inch leg. Then slip stitch, heel, gusset. And yeah, just knit. Super easy sock. I knit these. I started this 2 days ago and I knit them in 2 days. These socks, this sock, actually y'all, this is a update. Do y'all see this? I casted on the second one this morning, right after I finished the first. Your girl's doing magic loop. And I'm not minding it. Like, I don't mind doing it at all, which is so funny because I've been so against magic loop for a while. I've been like, I hate magic loop. Never ever gonna do magic loop. But I think it's because I didn't know how to properly do it until my needles broke, and after I casted off the Hibernal socks, my bamboo needles, I was like, no. Wow, sorry, that got a little heated there, but I was like, no, not again. I am going to use these needles, which I actually bought a while ago to try 2 at a time, but then I realized I had never done magic loop. So yeah, I am doing magic loop on these. I did not twist my stitches. That happened the last time I tried this, and I think that just really made me mad. I was like, I hate it. But no, I don't mind it at all. And I honestly might be converted from my 9-inch circulars to this, maybe. It's just so convenient because everything's already split. Like, I don't really have to use stitch markers. I don't have to transfer things to a separate needle or like not needle holder, but just like extra yarn to hold stitches on, which I usually do for like my heel or the instep, whatever. I just have to use multiple steps that I don't find very fun when I do 9-inch circulars for the heel, you know, all that stuff. But no, they like the other stitches just rest on the cable, so you don't have to do any of that, and it doesn't feel like it takes me longer. I mean, there's, like, you have to pull the cable, you know, situate your stitches, but it doesn't take me that long. Like, I think, I don't know, I think with the convenience of not having to do any extra steps or, like, put stuff on holders, like, I kind of like this right now, which is, I would not have expected. But, yeah, so I knit this sock in 3 days. This sock was fueled from coffee and panic. I think this is why my knitting mojo is so high. I say panic. I'm going on, a little personal tidbit, I'm going on a work trip, my very first work trip in a month, exactly a month. This trip has kind of been like, behind, like in the works for a while, but we didn't know it was like actually happening until recently, and like booked flights, booked hotels, which is so fun, and I work remotely and I've never seen my teammates in person, so I am really excited for that part. But I am terrified of planes, like deep fear of flying. And I've only flown once before, and it was with Logan. It was a few years ago. And I remember, like, getting on the plane, and then afterwards being like, that was okay. That wasn't that bad. But it's been a few years since I've done it, and I've never done it solo before. And my flight back, I actually have a coworker who lives in Texas, so we're going to be on the same flight going there. But yeah, coming back will be solo, and I'm very nervous, y'all. I know it'll be okay, and I know it's exciting. I'm really trying to, like, hype my mind up, you know. It'll be exciting to see my teammates, and I'm going to Chicago, which will be fun, and maybe I can, like, you know, stop in some yarn stores. I don't think I've ever traveled solo, actually, like by myself, which I know I'll be with my team most of the time, but I have one night that I'll kind of sort of just be by myself in Chicago, so yeah, I don't know. I'm excited, but I'm also very nervous to fly. So yeah, I think the day I realized it was exactly a month out, which was a few days ago, I just started panic knitting, and I panic knit the sock. At least I guess maybe my feet will be warm in Chicago. I don't know if it'll be cold in September. I have no idea. We're also going to Milwaukee, but yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you have any tips. I mean, I might try to bring some stuff on the plane. It's such a short plane ride from Texas, but I feel like knitting might help me on the plane. I don't know what I can pack. I don't know anything. So if you have any knitting travel tips, please let me know. And that's a backstory. I've been panic knitting. I panic knit the sock in 2 days or 3 days, I guess. And I'm panic knitting the other one right now. Super fun. But no, in all honesty, I really like these socks. It was so much fun to just knit a straight sock. I need to knit more plain socks. Most of my socks have texture on them, or lace work, or color work, and I just need to knit more plain socks like this because it fits really well. It is Patton's Croy, which feels like a thicker sock yarn to me. It's definitely more woolly and sturdy, which I think I would like. This would make a perfect hiking sock. I kind of wish I would have gotten into sock knitting in Washington, because like this is ideal for hikes. Anyways, that's my basic sock. So I have this much left. It's a 50-gram ball. I don't have the label. I'm so sorry. I don't know the color. It's really pretty though. It reminds me of fall. So I have this much left, and I'm knitting this sock. But I actually knit this sock. So I technically do have 2 socks. But I knit this sock like a couple years ago. Actually, I knit this sock on our way back, moving home from Washington to Texas. I knit this whole sock on our road trip. And it does not fit great. It's too small. The toe is like a weird rounded toe, and it doesn't fit on my toe very good. So I'm going to just rip this back, take the yarn, and then knit the second one, because I'm positive I will need more yarn. So they might not match perfectly, but that's okay. I really like this yarn too because it's almost marled. It kind of looks hand spun. It's gradient, I guess that's what you'd call this. It's just so pretty. I love it. I love this color. It's perfect. Those are my panic socks. Okay, I have one more that I can show you. This is yet another secret little crop top, if that's the name. So yeah, I casted this one on maybe 2 weeks ago, and I'm pretty close to finishing if I would just work on it again. I kind of stopped to work on my sock, but I am using a different yarn. This is, Patton's again. It's Patton's Linen, I think, again. Oh wait, no, I have it. Patton's Linen. It is a blend of linen and cotton, 65% cotton, 35% linen. So it is a bit more, it feels sturdier with the linen than like the Adventure cotton, which was just straight up cotton. And again, I love this color. It feels very fallish. I'm on the top part, so you can kind of see how it's constructed. I've already cast it off for the back. That'll be the back, and then those scrap yarns are holding where I'll connect the straps at the end. And yeah, so I'm just doing decreases for like this top part, and I'm knitting the extra small this time, so you can see this one will definitely mold to my body more. This is what I mean by slinky. See how it looks like it'll fit a taller, and then it goes like this. Slinky. I don't even know if that's the right term, but yeah, so I'm so close to finishing this. I just need to work on it, maybe this weekend. I casted this on because I thought it would be a perfect transition piece from summer to fall. It's like a fall color, but you know, Texas, it can still be 90 degrees in October, so can never have too many tank tops. I really love this color. It's one of my favorite, like, copper rust reds. See, I'm knitting the size extra small, but because of my very first extra small, oh wow, sorry, it got dark, but I think this one will come back. Because of my first one that I ever made with the back that was too tight, I did Jenny's surprisingly stretchy cast off, or bind off, and it is surprisingly stretchy. I really like this cast off. It's just a series of, you basically just do a yarn over in between your normal bind off and then bind them both off. I'm not going to try to explain it. Look up videos. I looked up a video, it was very helpful. But yeah, I use this cast off in a lot of stuff I make, especially for Wilder, for stuff that needs to go over his head, although I haven't knit him anything in a really long time. Maybe I will though. So yeah, I am hoping to finish this. Oh no, that almost just slid off the needles. I'm hoping to finish this one soon so I can gently block it and wear it. Maybe this is one that I could take to Chicago. I don't really know I don't know what the weather will be like in Chicago, but maybe. Yeah. So that's that. I was gonna say that's all, but I actually have one acquisition that I'm excited to share with y'all. So as you know, I'm pretty stingy right now about like the yarn I buy, and I'm trying to use the yarn I have. But I did decide that I want to knit myself a sweater for fall. At least one, maybe more, but at least one. It's been so long since I've knit myself just a full-on sweater. So long. So I had a different idea in mind. I was just going to the yarn store a couple days ago just to scope out a yarn for a certain pattern that I really want to knit. I think I might still knit. I'll put the pattern up here. I cannot say the name if Ed and Karsten remembers. This is what I want to knit. It has colorwork snakes on it. It's so cool. I've never worn black in my life, really. I've always been like, I want color. But recently I bought like a tank top that was black and I put it on and I was like, I like this. So I want to knit this in a heather gray for the main body and then very rich, just like pure black for the snakes. In my Slytherin era, I think with all the fantasy books I've been reading, I recently read Serpent in the Wings of the Night, like I guess a month or two ago. Loved that series. So I don't know, just like the dark black. I really want to knit that sweater. That's what I wanted to look for, was yarn for that color combo. But I ended up finding some yarn that was on sale for half off. I found this vintage Barocco, which is my favorite yarn ever. It's worsted weight, and originally it was like $8, but all of their Barocco vintage, any weight, was marked down to $4. So I was like, ah. And I've really been loving this color of yarn. I mean, that's one of the colors in my crop top I just showed you. It feels very fall, and it's funny because I usually stay away from cooler colors, but I love this. I think it could be because of the book I'm reading. I guess I'll show you. This kind of coincides. I'm reading Tress of the Emerald Sea, and this could be why I'm into this color at the moment, but I love it. So I ended up getting 6 skeins, all the skeins they had, and they're in the same dye lot of this yarn. And I'm going to make the Cove sweater. I'll put a picture up here. This just looks like the perfect sweatshirt, but elevated sweater, which is exactly what I want. I really hope 6 is enough, but we'll see. I do have some leftover orange color in this from a project from a really long time ago. So if I need to, I could like do stripes or do the cuffs in that orange, but I think I'll have enough. So I really want to cast this on soon. And a part of me was like, maybe this will be your panic knit. Like from now until you leave from Chicago, like you will be able to knit this sweater, like, and then take it with you. But I think that's too much. That's too much panic. I think I don't need to finish this for that trip. I don't even know if it'll be cold then, but I definitely want to work on it. So I'm excited. It'll be chunky, oversized sweater. Yeah, wild for me, but this is the cotton, kind of similar, a little bit brighter. So yeah, this color is growing on me. I like it. So yeah, that's all, but I was going to show y'all a little snippet of what I've been reading lately. So I did show this a second ago, but Tress of the Emerald Sea, I never buy books anymore. I usually stick to the library. My friends and I have been exchanging books in our own personal libraries, you know, borrowing them, just because like we have a lot to share. But I went to the bookstore with my sister-in-law, whom I love, and she's a major reader like me, and just something about being there with like, you know, a friend who reads. We both got, I got a book, she got some books, but I had to get this one. I've been seeing it a lot. I've seen some of my friends read it, and it's by Brandon Sanderson. He is a fantasy sci-fi author. He has a ton of books out there, and I've never read any of his before, but I really wanted to, so I figured this will be a good starter. This is a standalone in his Cosmere, I think is how you say it, universe. So maybe I'll like read. I just know once you get into Brandon Sanderson, it's like a big rabbit hole because he has so many books. I really want to read the Mistborn series next, though. It's not at my library, so I'll probably have to find it somewhere else, but I'm officially starting to read Brandon Sanderson, and I am almost done with this book, and it is so beautifully written. I will say I'm starting to learn that there are books I like to read because they are like fast-paced and easy to digest and almost like binge-worthy, and there are other books that are really, really, really good, but they're like a slower pace for me at least, and this is one of those books that's really, really good, but it's a slower pace. And when I say slow, that's just how like I'm reading it. It's not, I don't know, it's not one of those books that I pick up and I'm like, oh, I gotta finish this tonight. Like, it's definitely a read that I want to just read every single word because it's so poetic. You know, I'm not skipping over just to read the dialogue or what happens next. Like, it's written so beautifully and the cover is so pretty. So this is about Tress. Fun fact, so she loves cups. It has a little cup on the cover, which is just so sweet, so cute. But her parents actually knit as their jobs. I mean, I don't think it's like glorified. I think that's like a negative thing in this book. And like Tress at one point has to knit socks with her parents and like she doesn't love it. But I just thought that was so funny, and like knitting is somewhat represented. But yeah, so maybe that's where my sock came from too. I wanted to knit like Tress and her parents. But yeah, so it's a really good book. It is set in this universe that's very interesting, very fantastical. I would say it's on the edge of like sci-fi and fantasy for me. I mean, I guess it is fantasy technically, but they're like in a different world, and there's these moons, and there's this, they're called spores that are extremely dangerous on their Earth, or not Earth, but planet. And spores are in the ocean, so the ocean is spores, and if water, any sort of moisture touches them, they could like kill you because they sprout up crazy vines. It's wild. Like, the stuff in this book, it's so imaginative and wild. And so yeah, she basically is trying to find, goes on a journey. She's on a ship for a while, but the whole premise is that she's on this island, and no one on the island is allowed to leave the island, and so, you know, everyone who grows up there stays there. They're in their routines. It is set, and no one can leave. But spoiler, she does leave, and she goes on an epic journey. And it's like I said, it's beautifully written. There's so much fun fantasy in it. Technically, there is a love interest, but he's not like there the whole time. It's definitely like a solo adventure with friends, or like newfound friends and family. If that sounds interesting to you, I recommend. There's pirates, you know, it's fun. It's a fun read, but like I said, for me at least, it's slower. Like, I want to digest this fully. Yeah, this is the first book too that I picked up, and I was like, I need some highlighters. Like, I want to annotate and like highlight quotes that I really like. I like this book. I'm gonna be sad, I think, to finish it. I also, on the other spectrum of like highly digestible book that I read very fast, was Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I have never read any of Ali Hazelwood. I know she's pretty popular in like the romance scope. I literally just stick to fantasy, sci-fi. I don't read much of anything else. So this is about a vampire and a werewolf who, for political reasons, have to get married, and that's the gist of it. So this is one of those books, like I said, I read it fast, and it was I binged it for sure, but at the end, I knew it was gonna happen, you know? And I'm not used to this. I feel like, I don't know, like I said, I'm not used to reading just like contemporary romance books. I know she's big into STEM. Like, this author does a lot of like STEM romance books, and it was good, and it was easy to read, but like it wasn't on this level, you know? It's just different levels of reading. But I enjoyed it. So my friend let me borrow this. This is her book, and I had to text her afterwards. And just some of the things, like, it is spicy, and I'm not the biggest on big spice. And yeah, some of the stuff in it, we were just texting because I was like, that's interesting. You know, what he said was interesting. I don't know. Not like this wasn't in my wheelhouse, but like I'm glad I stepped out of my comfort zone and read it, even though if it is technically fantasy. It was more like romance, contemporary romance with like a fantasy spin on it to me. So after I read Tress of the Emerald Sea, I have had this book. So I'm not reading this right now, but I am going to read this after I finish Tress of the Emerald Sea. I've had this book in my own personal library for years, and I'm finally going to get to read it. Dance of Thieves. I saw this before we moved back from Washington to Texas. I went through my favorite bookstores and my favorite yarn shops and just like tried to take some stuff back that I really loved. We had a bunch of like local bookstores, indie bookstores in Washington. And so I remember going in there and seeing this book, and honestly I was drawn in by the cover. And I was like, I have to get this, and then I never read it. But I've recently seen some stuff on it. Like I've seen that people really like it. They say it's very underrated. And so yeah, I want to take a chance on it and finally read it. I'm excited. I've heard good things. I think my cousin has read this book and she really liked it. It's a duology and I have the second one as well, so just gotta read it. But yeah. Well, y'all, that is all I have for you. I'm not sure if that was rambly or not. This is the second time recording this because the first time did not go well. But yeah, thanks for sticking around. I don't know when I'll be back next. I don't know. But let me know what you're working on. If you're doing summer knitting or if you're already into fall knitting. I'm kind of in the middle. I would love to start fall knitting, and I think I will. And I kind of have with the sock I've been knitting. But yeah, let me know what you're doing. What makes you excited? What books you're reading? Yeah, thanks for sticking around. And I guess I'll see y'all next time.